Jumping off the porch like mom's not home. Tell me why the best things feel so wrong. Summer nights, love them how they take so long. Run with the feeling of being alive while we're jumping off the porch like mom's not home. Just a couple kids living on our own.
Hey, what's up, Ripple Effect?
What up?
Come on in and grab seats. We have some up here by the front as you're coming in.
Directly
We do
in
have
front of
stacks
us.
of chairs at the back if we need to get into those in a little bit. So feel free to come in, grab a seat. There are some up here at the front, so don't be a back wall Baptist.
Bro,
Don't-
we got some chairs right up here.
Yeah, there's and there.
Front row.
Yeah, I want Zach St. Pierre. Oh, why you sitting in the back row, dude? We got a front row seat right here for you and your boys.
We got one.
Dude, where are
two,
Zach St.
three,
Pierre's
four,
boys? Because we
five,
got
six.
to. Oh, you better hurry up, Zach. They're going fast. All right. Well, welcome to Ripple Effect. My name is Brett. I am the student pastor here. I'm really, really glad you guys are a part of tonight. This is my friend.
My name is Elliot. I am one of the interns here on Ripple Effect.
Yeah, say everybody say hi to Elliot because I'm up here because this is my job. He's up here for eye candy. So that's why he's
Someone's
here.
got to have hair up here, you know?
I know. I have it. It's just really, really short. Hey, we have a couple of things to let them know about. See, it's there. It's there.
I do see it.
What,
I feel it.
Elliot, what do they need to know about?
All right, so the first thing I need you guys to do is if you haven't already signed up for the text messages, you need to do that now. So
Pull
we
out
will
your
have
phone.
it.
Pull
You
out
need
your
to
phone.
phone. You need to text Ripple Effect.
If you do not get these text messages, you're missing out. So pull out your phone now.
You will get updates every week about our upcoming events, how to sign up for our events, and just some good thoughts. I send some positive thoughts every now and then.
Do you do the text messaging?
Maybe
Elliot, are you the source of the text messages?
you have to sign up to find out.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I thought it was just some random robot orb somewhere doing it.
Nah, that's lame.
Okay, cool. So there's a real person behind the text messages.
Yep. So you just text Ripple Effect to 95577.
Okay.
Now,
Now.
here's what's really important.
Oh, what you just said wasn't important.
I mean, compared to this,
that,
it's not that.
it's this.
It's this.
What are we talking
Bro,
about?
we're talking about Carowinds.
Oh,
I'm so happy all 6 of you are excited for it.
but those 6 people are going to have the time of their lives.
And you get to hang out with me, so
You won't hang out with me because I'll be doing lame dad things like coaching my kids' soccer games. But if you're not a lame dad and you're Elliot,
Which
you
I-
get to go to Carowinds.
I hope most of you aren't dads.
There may be some lame dads in here, but they're not going to be going either. Only the cool people go.
So tonight is the last night to sign up, okay? So if you want to sign up, talk to your parents about it. Make sure you can talk to them, have it sign up to tonight.
But it's like an all-day thing. It's
All
like
day.
leave at 6 in the morning,
Yep,
ride roller coasters,
yup,
throw up,
yup,
get back in the van, and ride home.
and throw up in the van.
Yeah, could happen. So, all right. Well, hey, there's one more thing to let you guys know about. We have not done this for a couple of years. At least I know last year we didn't do it, but we're bringing it back this year. It is the Ripple Effect Fall Retreat. Yeah, so they're more excited about the retreat than Carowinds.
Finally.
I know they're excited about
Energy.
something. All right. So the fall retreat is November 3rd and 4th. It is a one-night, Saturday night? Friday night event. Thank you. So it is going to be up at Camp Kirkwood. It's a lot of fun. It's an opportunity for you guys at the beginning of a school year. What kind of past the beginning, before you get to the middle of the school year, to kind of like stop, pause, and say, okay, where's my walk with God? Let me kind of get away from the distractions of school and sports and academics and friends, and maybe your friends will be there with you, helping you kind of refocus your heart and your mind on your walk with God. So that's what it is. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's an opportunity to connect with other high schoolers, but really to kind of say, what does it look like for me to focus my heart's affection and my mind's attention on my Creator, just for a one-night retreat. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Sign-ups for that are going to start tomorrow. So there's going to be a link. We're going to give you a handout when you leave here tonight that'll give you more information and a link that you can go to sign up for the fall retreat. It's going to be a lot of fun. So That's all the information we have.
Sure.
Yes, but
There's a but.
there's a but of every joke, and it's Elliot. All right, so there is, we are going to be doing something. Now, this is, Ripple Effect on Sunday nights it's a coming together of houses. It is a coming together of regroups. How many of you have been to regroups the last 2 weeks? Yeah, so Ripple Effect is really about the regroups that are happening in small groups and all that kind of stuff. And once a month we get together to celebrate. Hey, we've been apart, now we're together. But we want to divide them even further. Yes, we're going to divide them even further. We want to see which regroup is the best regroup.
910 South. 1112 North?
I don't know. So what we need is a representation of each group. We need a representative from each regroup. So 910 South. Where is a 910 South representative?
Where are my people at?
Yes, 910 South. Come on up. We're gonna get to know you in just a minute. How about a 910 North? 910 North. Wait.
She's
Don't be
ready.
scared. Don't be scared.
ready.
910 North? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, she did get real excited. Miss Kelmer, we're gonna go ahead and defer to the excitement level over here. Okay.
Break their hearts.
All right. 1112 South. Okay.
Whoever this Chloe person is.
These upperclassmen I'm feeling they're kind of lame right now. Where is somebody with excitement for 1112 South?
Wow.
Zach St. Pierre is going to come up and do 1112 North. I know
Yeah.
that. 1112 North.
We still need
representing. We still need South.
We need 1112 South.
Wow. So this is really sad. All right, is there a leader from?
Wait, do we have one?
Yes. Thank you.
Finally.
Thank you. Come on up. Come on up.
Please give her a round of applause. Well
Yes.
done.
A round of applause. That's a round of applause. All right, so we're going to get you guys to line up here on these towels. We're going to get to know you here. Just pick a towel, stand on a towel, spread out here on the towel. All right, so name and school and favorite beverage.
Caitlin Hoggard T.
All right, go ahead, Elliot, get the rest. So Caitlin for representing Hoggard and T.
Oh, Lacey, Coastal Christian, and Lemonade.
Lemonade.
Now, if you take tea and lemonade and put them together, Arnold Palmer. Yes, Arnold Palmer.
All right, next one.
Chloe Laney Earl Grey T.
Earl Grey.
We get specific.
Very specific type of tea. She's very British.
Proper. Last one.
My name is Zach. I go to Hanover and Cape Fear, and my favorite tea is tea.
No, favorite
Well, any
beverage.
beverage.
Yeah, favorite beverage.
Root beer.
Root beer. Take the root off, and that's his favorite beverage. All right,
Oh, nasty.
so we're gonna play a game. It is called the Straight Arm Challenge. And here's how this works.
Boom.
We know that high schoolers
They love to drink.
drink water. They love to drink water. So what we're gonna, they like to be hydrated. So Vanna, can you grab some waters for us? That's you, Elliot. Elliot, you're the eye candy. You're Vanna. Can you grab the waters for us? All right, so Elliot's gonna grab some waters, and I'm gonna grab some PVC pipes. So everybody's gonna get a water. Yeah, I hope you like to drink water, and I hope you like to wear water. Because here's what you're gonna do.
You can wear water.
The straight arm challenge is you put, what is your preferred drinking arm? Just put this on your preferred drinking arm. All the way on. There you go. Just slide it on there. Slide it on. There you go. You can do it. Now, I mean, we know Zach's muscles aren't too big to go over for that to go over. So here's what you're gonna do. The challenge is, because we know high schoolers love to drink water. So you're gonna take the cap off, and we say go. Please be standing on a towel, preferably. All right. It's a person who can drink water the fastest but also get the most in their mouth. Okay, so we're judging you on speed and accuracy, and you must use your straight arm for the straight arm challenge, okay? Because that would be pointless to put that on your right arm and then drink with your left arm. That'd be stupid because it
Because that's
wouldn't be
just
straight.
drinking water and nobody wants to watch that.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move out of the way. So, on your marks.
We can go over here.
Yeah, we're gonna go over here. We're the judges. Wait, let's go one on one side, one on the other.
Wait.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. This is inappropriate. That is not how high schoolers drink water. All right, so please stay away from the expensive electronics. All right,
Please.
on the count of 3,
Shielding yourself,
1,
Brooks.
2, 3, straight up challenge.
Go!
You're
Oh
supposed
my,
to
you're
drink
almost-
it, Zach.
You got
Okay,
swallowed
this
the water.
is terrible. This is terrible. Okay, so we got a little bit of accuracy
Oh
going here.
my
He went for
God.
speed first. Chloe, it's supposed to go in your mouth.
In the mouth.
Chloe. Lacey, come on, you're so slow.
She's
All right, Zach's done. Chloe's done. You're still not done, Lacey. Lacey, you're the slowest
Oh my
and the
gosh.
least accurate.
Oh my goodness.
You are the slowest and the least accurate.
Honestly.
It is not a. We
You lost
picked
your
people
arm.
with colored T-shirts on purpose. All right, so anyone feel like Zach accomplished the straight arm challenge the best?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Chloe,
We got our 3 friends over there.
Lacey,
We got her friends over there. Yep.
last but not least, 910 South. Wow.
What?
Wow, so they're excited about it, but ultimately, it doesn't matter what they think, because we're the judges.
You're just in the audience.
Elliot, let's confer. All right, we have the winner. As much as we don't want to do this,
We're gonna have to do it.
we don't really want to do this,
We kind of do want to do it.
but we have to do it. The winner
At least
was
I kind of want to do it.
1112 North, Zach St. Pierre. I have to say the
Well
accuracy.
done. Oh!
Okay,
It
you're
is
no
good.
longer the winner. Just kidding, you are. All right, give everybody a hand real quick. Yeah, that was awesome. You guys can leave stage.
A
You
round
can
of
just
applause.
leave that stuff there. That's fine. Just drop it where you are. Go leave stage. We have nothing with which you can use to dry yourself off. Sorry.
Not these
Actually,
towels- not these
backstage we
towels
do
on
have
the
some.
ground?
We'll bring some towels out there for you.
I was just
We'll bring
saying.
some towels out. All right. So, if you have not yet been to Regroup, we would love to invite you to be a part of a Regroup. They are kicking back off for 3 weeks in a row starting next week. So we have a 910 North, 910 South, 1112 North, and 1112 South. We would love for you to be connected at one of our houses and in a small group. If you have any questions about Regroup, we will have volunteers out at a table where you can get connected. They'll give you a little business card with the address that we'd love to see you show up at. And just to give you a little taste of what's happened the last couple of weeks, go ahead and check out what's up on the screens.
ripple effect. Let's stand and worship together. From the darkness, I called your name. Into darkness, your mercy came. You called me out, lifted me up. How great is your love? You bore my weakness, you took my shame, buried my burdens in fields of grace. You called me out, lifted me up. How great is your love? From the heights of heaven, you stepped down to earth. Innocent perfection, gave your life for us, and we are amazed. Yes, we stand in awe, for we have been changed by the power of the cross. How great, how great, how great is your love? How great, how great, how great is your love? How great, how great, how great is your love for us? You fall down with us, you lead me home. In your presence will I be. You call me out, lifted me up. How great is your love? From the heights of heaven, you stepped down to earth. Innocent perfection, gave your life for us, and we are amazed. Yes, we stand in awe, for we have been changed by the power of the cross. How great, how great, how great is your love? How great, how great, how great is your love? How great, how great, how great is your love for us? There has never been, and there will never be a God like you, a love so true. There's never been, there will never be a God like you, a love so true. There has never been, there will never be a God like you, a love so true. There has never been, there will never be a God like you, a love so great, how great, how great is your love. How great, how great, how great is your love for us. The head that once was crowned with thorns is crowned with glory now. The Savior knelt to wash our feet. Now at his feet we bow. The one who wore our sin and shame, now robed in majesty. The radiance of perfect love now shines for all to see. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Our praise will rise to Jesus. The fear that held us now gives way to him who is our peace. His final breath upon the cross is now alive in me. Yes, it is. Oh, your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Oh. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King. Yeah, sing that out. By your Spirit is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to was borrowed for 3 days. His body there would not remain. Our God is rock the grave. Our God is rock the grave. Sing it now. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your name is victory. And all praise will rise to Christ our King. By your Spirit, I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. Come to join the sung long before our lives, to raise our voice alone, heaven and earth alike. We've seen your faithful hand and your mercy without end, and a King who bled and died, a God who sacrificed. Sing, be enthroned upon the praises of 1,000 generations. You are worthy, Lord of all. Yeah, God, we declare that tonight. We confess that you are Lord above everything else. We're grateful that your presence is with us tonight, that we're not alone here. And it's because of your Son that we have access to you. God, we're grateful for that truth tonight. We're grateful that we can come together as one body in one church and remind our hearts by singing these truths about you and to you, bringing you honor and praise tonight. God, we give you thanks for this time where we can come together and learn from your word, and I pray that you would speak. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank God for singing with us. You can grab a seat.
What's up, you guys? I feel like we always have the most epic intro videos ever, and like I need to start screaming immediately whenever it's done. But I gotta tell y'all a funny story really quick. So I was just like running around like crazy looking for this black table that I usually use to speak, and I couldn't find it. So I went back here. I don't know if y'all heard all that clanking around back there whenever he was praying, but I went back there and I got this giant metal one. And like my arm is exhausted, and I carried it all the way through the church and all the way upstage, and I bumped into like 50 things back there. And then right when I walked on stage, the little black table's right there. So just thought I'd share that with you guys. I was like, oh, are you kidding me? Okay, so I got to know before I get started, like, where are my readers at? Like, Dan, you guys love to read? Yeah, like some of you guys do. This is good. This is good. And I'm not talking about the Bible. I just mean like anything. Like, how many of you guys like to read? Whether it's Harry Potter, right? We got Harry Potter people in here. Yeah. Sacrilegious, but okay. No, I'm just kidding. Totally joking. That's awesome. I like Harry Potter too. In fact, my dad used to, he would never let me watch Harry Potter or read Harry Potter growing up. Because it was like bad. And then whenever I went to college, I came home one night and I caught him watching the movies. I was like, Dad? So now he like loves Harry Potter. Okay, anyways, how many of you guys know what the best-selling book of all time is? The Bible. You guys are such good Christians. It's not the Bible. Everyone thinks it's the Bible, but it's not the Bible. If you guys look at all the bestsellers lists, actually the best-selling book of all time is this book right here. It's called Don Quixote. Have any of you guys read Don Quixote? It's such a great book. It's about this guy. Everyone's getting mad because I'm like, sorry, the Bible's not the best-selling book of all time, and you guys are in an uproar. But it's Don Quixote. So Don Quixote is about this guy. It's about this like Spanish knight who's obsessed with doing chivalrous deeds. Like he's obsessed with doing good things, and he's a little delusional. So he ends up doing a bunch of crazy things, but he really kind of helps some people along the way. But it's really a goofy story, and it's a great read. If you haven't read it, you should definitely read it. And the reason why the Bible is not the best seller, it probably is in reality, but it and a whole lot of other old religious texts have been exempt from that list because it's so old that we weren't really counting how many people were buying it back then, and I don't know if they had Barnes & Noble, right? So the Bible probably in all reality is the bestsellers list. You don't have to get mad, but it's not number one because it's exempt from the list. And we also know that the Bible's not just one book, right? It's a collection of 66 different documents by dozens of different authors over the course of 1,500 years. So like it's a collection of a whole bunch of different works, right? It's what we call an anthology. And I know that some of you guys might be getting tired of this topic because I know we've hammered it. Like we spent all summer reading the Bible, and we did an 8-week series. Whose idea was that on it last year? That was so long. But I guess we're at church, right? So get used to it. It's the Bible, sorry. But the reason why we harp on this topic so much, the reason why we're doing another series on the Bible at the beginning of the year, and we're getting ready to do some other series. We're getting ready to do a series on sex, money, right? Basically everything that rap songs are about. I think someone said that to me earlier. But we're going to do talks on sex and money and all these things that we kind of deal with in day-to-day life. But the reality is whatever I have to say about sex or money or your walk with God or going to school or your groups of friends or anything really doesn't matter if this isn't true, right? Like the reality is what gets said from any stage in this building, it might be good advice, it might be cool to hear, it might be entertaining to listen to, I don't know, probably not, but it doesn't really matter because it all hinges on this. All the advice we give, all the great talks we do, right, it all comes out of here. So if we don't get this, none of that stuff really matters in the first place. And I know, like, whenever someone gets up here and they're like all excited about the Bible and they tell this crazy story that they found or whatever else, it's like, man, that's really interesting. Right? Like you could see how the Bible's got some crazy stories in it, right? It's got some cool stuff in it. In fact, it's fun to hear about sometimes. It's fun to have someone come up here and go over all the stories, but the truth is that it's probably not at the top of our reading list, right? Like whenever I want to go home on like, I don't know, I do it on Friday night. Y'all probably don't stay at home and read on Friday nights, but whenever I want to go home and like curl up with a book and read, I'm not like, I'm just going to grab Revelation and get a nice mug of coffee, right? Like nobody does that, right? Like we want to read something else. We want to read something different. And there's some really good reasons for that. There's some really valid reasons for why we don't go to the Bible for a fun, like Goosebumps type read, right? Did y'all read Goosebumps or is that like way before y'all? Y'all did? Okay. I didn't know if that was like still a thing or not. Anyways, but there's some reasons why we don't do that, right? There's some reasons why the Bible isn't the book that we go to for a leisurely read, right? It's because it's really old. It's difficult to read. Sometimes it's hard to understand. It's super long. I don't really know where to begin. And the best part is, there is some mad, weird stuff in the Bible. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Like if y'all go looking for weird stories in the Bible, there is no shortage of them. There's a lot of really weird stories in the Bible. You should do it sometime. Google it. And you might be surprised at what is actually in there. But so there's some really weird stories, right? So we have all these reasons of why this isn't like the first thing that we jump on to read, right? Whether it's because it's old, it's hard to understand. There's 3 million different translations. I don't really know where to begin, right? All these reasons. Plus, you've got me, you've got maybe your small group leader, maybe your parents, Mike, right? You've got these people who get up here every Sunday and basically tell you what it kind of says, right? So like, why do you need to read it? Or maybe you don't even want to go there because you know there's some stuff in there that you disagree with. Or so there's some stuff in there that you don't like. Or there's some stuff in there that might cause some tensions with your friends. Or maybe with you. And then the big question, right? The big question about why should I read this is, at least for me, I don't know about you guys, but how do I know it's true? Right? Like, that's the big one. That's the one that matters. How do I know it's true? And if it is true, awesome. Because you got to think about what this book claims to have, right? It claims to have the answers to life, the answers to being happy, answers about creation, meaning, purpose, afterlife, the end of the world. Right? Like all the big questions that we have, all the big stuff that we think about as being human beings existing on this earth, this book claims to have the answers to. So if it's true, holy cow, this is it. Right? If it's not, it's the biggest lie of all time. That billions of people have bought into, right? So the big question is what? How do I know if it's true? How do I know if it's true? And I wish this was an easy answer. I wish I could come up here and be like, just, read it and you'll believe it, right? Like, but that's not the way it works, right? Or everybody would be Christian, right? Everyone would be cranking out the Bible all the time, right? Like you'd all be pastors, right? But that's not the case. It's a little more difficult than that, right? It's not just this simple. In fact, there's people that dedicate their entire careers to researching this. People who dedicate their entire lives to digging into Scripture and figuring out, is it reliable? What was going on at that time? What does it really mean, right? All these things. There's people who dedicate years and years and years and years of scholarly research digging into this book. And the truth is, we're not even going to scratch the surface of what they've found out. We're not even going to scratch the surface of the scholarly arguments for or against this book. But what my hope really is that we can look, you remember we talked about how it's all these different documents, right? My hope is that we can look at one of them and maybe make things a little bit clearer. Maybe make things a little bit easier to understand. So we're going to start with Luke. If you know Luke, it's one of the 4 Gospels, right? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And those are the books that talk about the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. And in Luke 1:1, he says this. He says, "Many have undertaken to draw up an account of the things that have been fulfilled among us." Many have taken to draw up an account of the things that have been fulfilled among us. Street version. A whole lot of people have written down what's going on right now. A whole lot of people have written down what's happening in our world right now. And there's kind of a clue in that first verse. There's a clue in this first verse. He says many. A lot of people. A lot of people have written down. For some reason, something happened that a lot of people felt like they needed to write down. Something went down that a whole lot of people were like, hey, we better write this down and tell people about it, right? A whole lot of people. Something happened. And we've got 4 people who wrote the Gospels, right? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And all these other documents in the Bible saying the thing that happened that everyone felt like they needed to write down, the thing that happened that was so crazy that it moved these people to write, the thing that happened that was so crazy that for some reason we still have these documents so many years later was the life, death, and resurrection of a man named Jesus. So we have those 4 documents, right, the Gospels, along with all the other letters and stuff we find in the New Testament that were passed around and they were copied and saved. So people wrote these down, right, and they usually sent them to one person. Like Luke was sent to this guy named Theophilus, right, and they'd send these books, they'd send these documents, these letters, whatever, to people, and they'd read them, and they'd be like, man, we got to share this. We got to make sure people know what's going on, and they would copy them down, and then they'd pass those around. So, as these documents get passed around, it was honestly, this is kind of lame, but it was like an ancient retweet, right? It was like someone was like, yo, I really want everybody I know to see what's in this. Retweet, right? So they copied it down, and they passed it around. And so many, in fact, this is crazy to me. This might not be crazy to y'all, but it's crazy to me. I'm kind of a literature geek. We have more copies of the New Testament than we have any other ancient document like the Odyssey or the Iliad. We have more copies, we don't have any of the originals, but we have more copies of the documents in the New Testament than we have of any other ancient text. And I know, at least for me, whenever I heard that, it made me think like, well, that probably means there's a whole lot of mistakes, right? Like that probably means that a whole lot of people it's like telephone, right? Like a whole lot of people tried to copy down the right thing and they messed it up, right? They made some mistakes along the way. But the crazy thing is that you can take a document from, and I'm sorry if this sounds like history class right now, but we're going there, oh well. You can take a document from 250 AD and compare it to a document in 500 AD, and guess what? It's the same. The only mistakes are grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes because they didn't have autocorrect, right? So you can take these documents 250 years apart, generations apart, years apart, and they're exactly the same. And there's a reason for this, right? And Luke describes it. He goes on, after he says, many have undertaken to draw up an account of the things that have been fulfilled among us, just as they were handed down to us by those who from the first were eyewitnesses and servants of the word. So basically what he's saying, he's like, hey, a whole lot of people have written this stuff down. A whole lot of people have written this stuff down. And they wrote it down just as they heard it from the people who saw it. So all the people that wrote this down, they went and interviewed the people who were there, the people who saw Jesus, the people who saw all this stuff go down, and they wrote it down exactly as they heard it. And with this in mind, since I myself have carefully investigated everything from the beginning, I too decided to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus. I wish my friends addressed me like that. But what Luke is saying here, he's like, yo, a whole lot of people have written this stuff down. And they wrote it down exactly as they heard it. And after I saw them doing that, I'm like, yo, I better do it too. So I went and interviewed. I went and did research. I went and asked people. I went and talked to eyewitnesses. And I wrote it down too. I did my research. And scholars agree that Luke was a smart dude. Like he was, some people say he was a physician, right? Because you can tell by the way he writes, it's so detailed. He goes in depth. And what he gives you is he gives you the context. right? And the Greek word that Luke uses, I'm really bad at Greek, you guys, but I'm going to try my best. It's, I'm just going to do it, autopsies. And it's similar to, it's where we get our English word autopsy, right? So after someone dies, whenever you go digging around in their body, like on Criminal Minds, and you're like hucking out livers and kidneys and stuff and trying to figure out how they died. That's how I always picture it. But that's what Luke did. Jesus died, all this stuff went down, he was resurrected, and Jesus is like, all right, or Luke is like, all right, we got to figure out what happened, right? And he does all this research to figure out. And what Luke is saying is, dude, this isn't just storytelling. Like, this just isn't fun time, yay, like I'm going to write a cool fairy tale, right? But this is what actually went down. And Luke didn't have skin in the game. Luke didn't have any reason to lie, any reason to make stuff up, any reason to, like, fabricate the facts of what happened. But he went and he did research and he dove in and he dug, right? And what he's saying, what he goes on to say in Luke 1:4 is he says this. He tells them why he wrote it. He says, so that you may know the certainty of the things that you've been taught. So that you may know the certainty of the things that you've been taught. The reason why Luke went and did all this research, the reason why Luke went and talked to all these people and ran all over town, and I don't know, probably spent some money, I don't know how these things work, I'm not a reporter, but the reason why he did all this stuff for Theophilus, for most excellent Theophilus, is so that he may know the certainty of what he's been taught. So that he knows that what he's been taught is true. What he's been taught is real. What he's been taught matters. And what Luke tries to give Theophilus is context. He doesn't just zoom in and say, hey, here's the story of Jesus from start to finish, but he says, hey, here's what's going on in the world at this time. Here's what's going on around Jesus. Here's what's going on with Jesus' friends. Here's what's going on in the government, right? He gives this big picture. Because context makes things clear. So not just who Jesus is, but the research he put in trying to make sure that Jesus' story was told in a clear and accurate way. And it was for a reason, right? Because the truth is, like we were saying before about this book, is if it's true, it's got like all the answers to everything you could ever want to know. And the same thing is true about Jesus. If what this book says is true about Jesus, it's the most important thing that's ever happened, period. It's the most important thing that's ever happened. In fact, it's the only thing that really matters. If what happened, if Jesus really lived, died, and was raised from the dead, that is the most important story to ever be told. And the truth is that we need to know the certainty of what we've been taught too. Like, we need to know the certainty of what's in here, and it matters. Because why? If we're going to trust our lives with him, if we're going to trust him with our lives, if we're going to trust him to do what he says he's going to do, then we need to be certain of it, right? Then we need to know. And if it is true, then following him, trusting him, it's a no-brainer. And Luke is just one author inside this like collection of documents right here, right, that says that's what happened. So what I want to challenge you guys to do is to research it. Discover more about it. It's the best-selling book of all time, right? And if what's in there, if what they say is in here, is really in here, then you owe it to yourself to read it. And this isn't just like a, hey, go read the Bible because it's good for you thing. Like, this, like, it's crazy to think about that, like, your life and death, like what you do here and what happens afterwards hinges not on the book, right, but the man that's described in it. So you owe it to yourself to do the research. And if you're sitting here like, well, I'm Christian, I definitely believe it. I have no questions of it at all. It's not a good thing. The first thing is be curious. Be curious. Be willing to jump in. Be willing to do research. Be willing to ask questions. Be a skeptic whenever it comes to this stuff. And one of the great ways that you can do that, to research the context and to see what's going on at this time. Why are these people writing it? What's going on that drove these people to do that? Is I don't know if any of you guys have a study Bible, right? Like a life application Bible where it tells you what was going on. That's a great option. There's a whole lot of commentaries. You can find a whole lot of great stuff on Google too. Just be careful because you can find some crazy stuff too. But don't Google image search it. Just kidding. But start with researching the context. Ask yourself questions like this. Who wrote it? Who was it written to? When was it written? Why was it written? What was going on at that time? And I know that like this might take an hour out of your day. I know that it might like that y'all got stuff going on. I know how busy you guys are. It's nuts. Especially those of you guys that play volleyball. Seems like y'all are the busiest people I know. But take some time out of your day to read it. And not just to read it, but to research it. Take an hour a week and research it. Because it matters. It really does matter. And if you come out on the other end and you're like, it's a sham, then at least you're not wasting your time here on a Sunday night, right? But if you come out on the other side and you're like, man, this is true, this is legit, then don't miss out on something that could potentially change your life. So we're going to do it here. We're going to, over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, over the next 3 weeks. Over the next 3 weeks, next week we're gonna talk about one more thing, why the Bible matters like now and today in your life, why this really old book matters. And then we're going to jump into James. Then we're going to read James. And we're gonna talk about the context and talk about why it matters and talk about what's going on. So you guys hang with me. I know it's not like the most exciting series in the world, but it really will set you up to win. And it really is like of vast importance. And I don't want to underplay that. The things that are in that book, if they're true, they will change your life. Right? And some of you guys have already experienced this. Right? Some of you guys haven't. But even if you are at a place where you're like, I'm good, I got it, be a skeptic and research anyways and dive in anyways. If nothing else, it'll prepare you to be real with your friends, right? So thank you guys so much for listening to me speak. I'm going to pray out, and the band's going to come up here, and we're going to do one more song, and we'll see you guys afterwards, okay? Dear God, thank you so much for giving us your word, God. And just the truth of what happened, God. Thank you for setting up an environment where we can hear that, God, and where we can discover what really happened, God. And if what really happened is true, God, I pray that you'd speak that to our hearts tonight, Lord. And that you'd give us a hunger and a thirst to read and to discover and to research not just this book, right, God, but you. To dive into you, God, to ask questions about you, God, to go to you with our struggles and with our hang-ups and with all the crazy stuff that goes on. So, God, I pray that you'd be with us, that you'd stir up a hunger in us, God, and just that you'd be with us as we leave here tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Precious is my Savior's blood. The beauty of heaven wrapped in my shame. The image of love upon death's frame. If having my heart was worth the joy could you see beyond the grave? If love found my soul worth dying for, how wonderful, how glorious, my Savior's scars, victorious. My chains are gone, my debt is paid, from death my Savior's scars, victorious. My chains are gone, my debt is paid. From death to life and grace to grace.
All right, thank you guys so much for coming tonight. Have a good night. Hope to see you next week at Regroups.
Taking time out as time flies on by, dancing with my sugar pie. That's how it started, baby, way back when.
You saw me dancing in the crowd I was dancing in.
I thought you were the only one there.
I know, I saw how you stared.
Sparks were flying and all the rest couldn't keep heart in chest.
Now who would have guessed?
A shooting star